Greetings. This is Michael Erlewine. I'm going to read some of my Dharma poems. I'll just do them kind of one at a time and just see how it goes. The rest of the mind. You cannot rest the mind, but you can let the mind rest. Just let go and don't mind the rest. Nothing is something. Thank you, Rinpoche, for pointing something out. That there is nothing to be pointed out. That nothing can be pointed out, including nothing. Nothing also cannot be pointed out. To me, that's really something. Beyond my expectations. Looking at the mind, it's not what I'd expect. Expectations can't define, and you can't expect to find. That's the nature of the mind. Rest home. My thoughts, like birds aboard a ship, I let go free as they fly away from me. No need to follow on, and here's the perfect test. There is no place to go. All thoughts come back to rest. Testing the rest. Learning to rest the mind really puts my practice to the test. So sometimes I just need to take a break and simply get some rest. Time for nothing. Excuse me for the moment. No matter the reasons why. I just need more time to do nothing but gaze into clear, empty sky. Seek and not find. If you find yourself, then you're not looking. You will never not find yourself unless you look. In other words, if you don't look, you will find yourself. If you look, you will not find yourself. That's the nature of having no nature. Looking at. I'm looking at. I'm not looking at what looking at is looking at. No, I'm just looking at. That is, I'm trying to. You see, when I'm looking at, it's not looking at I'm looking at, because what I'm looking at is also doing the looking at. So am I looking at or the looking at? Samsara. Not exhausted, uncontrollable, recurring activities animate my life and keep me ever moving through a waste of time. All the things I like to do. But every so often I lose my appetite and remain unmoved, not interested, already at the end of where I would be if I did all that. My time is taken up, empty of effort, in motion. With no direction, I lose my meaning and just stop wandering. I am so still. I don't have to keep my edge. The edge keeps me. At these times I know that rejecting this world will never work. Given time, even the world goes void and effortlessly rejects itself. Wait for that. Hummingbird, swift and awake, poised in midair, he just knows where all the flowers are. Aware of the danger, but also of the thrill, he drinks only the nectar which happens to spill. Lineage. There is nothing transmitted, and nothing ever flows. A connection simply opens in which Samaya grows, and then mixing of minds, extension by recognition, transmission through identification, in other words, empowerment, a simple blessing forever green that mastering time makes sure that no less than the same is certain. Hear emptiness. Emptiness is all that it takes to hear everything. Even the best arguments fall silent when heard. Emptiness can be heard above the loudest noise. Mandala. A good offering gathers together naturally to a point of blooming, like a perfect flower, and dissolving is gone. Petals in the wind, and then again. The object of mandalas is offering, endlessly. It's all offering. Meditation is nothing. The books say, seek a place of solitude and meditate, but it's just the other way around. When meditation naturally occurs, there is no place in the world that you feel comfortable, try as you might. Not here or there, not doing this or doing that. Only nothing feels right. You just want to hold real still, let the mind rest, and then park yourself somewhere out of the way, like on a cushion or in a place of solitude, because nothing is going on. Samsara. The same world that early on makes it difficult to meditate, later makes it difficult not to. Ordinary mind, Tamalji Shepa in Tibetan, crystal clear like water, so obvious we ignore it. It's everywhere and still not seen. The only thing that satisfies our thirst is not even on most menus. Resting. Sitting quietly, properly, with tongue to teeth, my body invites the mind to be at ease. Mandala offering. The offering is not the offering. The offering is the offering. It's the giving, not the gift. That is the mandala. Mind practice. Not an option, but a refuge, less painful than anywhere else. Post-meditation. If I'm practicing all the time, when will I have time to practice? Organic mind. Thoughts like waves that ceaselessly rise and fall in the ocean of the mind, water to water. Not in any way an impediment. Thoughts are, in fact, how we know our mind exists, the very fuel of all awareness. Mind, the mother of all thoughts. Vipassana. Thoughts, the windows of the mind, are not something to follow or reject. I look through them, wedged between the past and the future, like the eye of a needle is this present moment. That, too, we have to see through. Purity is being empty and without a trace. Pure emptiness. The power of emptiness is its purity, and it tames instantly. The result of emptiness is compassion, working with things just as they are. Emptiness loves everything perfectly, including me. Yabyam. Above the loudest noise, emptiness is all it takes to hear everything. and even the best arguments fall silent when heard. Here or there. When it comes to awakening, one thing is very clear. The closer I get to there, the more I find I'm here. Rinpoche. Just as in that dream of sleep you came, urging me awake, so too, in this dream of life, you awaken me from the nightmares of ignorance. On first meeting, at first glance, you showed me compassion, introducing me to myself. I wandered for days wrapped in your blessing. Yet due to my weak practice, I could not hold that state for long. Still, having known such kindness, I no longer chase after imitations. You are the bright star in the night of my obscuration, always showing me the way to the precious Dharma, guiding me back to myself. You are indeed a precious one, Rinpoche. Karma mirror. According to the Dharma, the world just as I see it is my reflection. A perfect mirror of the mind, reflecting karma, my every thought and action. Karma is pure result, the outer reflection of an inner reality that once ripened cannot be altered, no matter how carefully I choose my words, no matter how right I get my mind, no matter how close I hold my tongue, no matter how slyly I take a peek, I always see myself peeking. The world looks back whenever I look, and clever as I am, even I can't sneak up on a mirror. The four thoughts that turn to mind. This precious life, impermanent and brief, I know. My actions keep on piling up, and I can't quite get my ducks all in a row. Trungpa said to me so many years ago, by grasping just one thought or two, we'll never turn aside. We must, he said, maintain all four and leave not one behind. Four precious thoughts that touch the heart. Only they can turn the mind. Second thoughts. A sudden whiff of impermanence makes me wince and breaks my train of thought. What was I thinking? Eyes open, here now again, contemplating the stream of my own karma. Impermanence, the smelling salts of the Dharma. Attachment, the glue that holds the self together. Rest home. My thoughts like birds aboard a ship, I let go free as they fly away from me. No need to follow them. And here's the perfect test. There is no place to go. All thoughts come back to rest. Wake up call. That occasional whiff of impermanence that is the smelling salts of the Dharma. Empowerment. There are many waiting to be known, but few who care enough to know. Solitude. Alone is a simple mistake, like the disappearance of a sound. Hearing cannot be heard, and the finder never found. Emptiness. I cannot think of emptiness, but I have tasted it. My words sputter out in its silence. Emptiness embraces more than I know. From a dream. I have gone to paint the sunrise in the sky, to feel the cool of night warm into day. The flowers from the ground call up to me. The self I think I am is hard to see. Never known. If I know, I don't know I know. And I don't know, I know, I don't know, I know. I don't know what I would know if I did know. That's how I know I don't know. So, I don't know. I know I don't know. And I know I don't know. I have never known. my poems. Poems, a home for my thoughts, dear thoughts, the very best of me, all that's precious and kind, now sealed in words like insects in amber, prayer flags endlessly waving in the gentle chalice of the mind. Early too late. We don't know late while it's still early, and we only know early when it starts getting late. When it's not too late to be early, it's still too early to be late. When it is too late to be early, it's already late, but maybe not too late. When we remember what was early, then it is too late. The beginning of the end. The beginning of the end, which is the end of the beginning, begins at the end of the beginning and goes straight to the end. In other words, when beginning ends, ending begins. The beginning is not close to the end, but the beginning of the end is closer to the end than to the beginning. At the beginning of the end, the beginning of the beginning ends. Since the beginning of the beginning ends, will the end of the end begin? Is ending also a beginning? If so, the beginning of the end is closer to the beginning than is the end of the beginning. I'm counting on that. One of my favorite poems, but see what you think of. It's called The Point of No Return. It's a poem I wrote for my daughter, Michael Ann. The point of no return is that when you have reached the point of no return, from which there is no return, the point is to turn and return. That is the turning point. Every life has a turning point, whether it's in the echo of age or in the very midst of life's prime. As we reach our point of no return, we pause, and then we turn. And in turning, we begin to reflect. In our reflection, in rising into view, perhaps for the very first time, the sun, where before it was we who were seen and others seeing, now we are the mirror in which they see themselves, and we can see ourselves in them. What we once saw shining before us as youths, that which we gladly embraced in our prime, and what we now see etched in the mirror of reflection is our eternal self, the sun, ever burning in the darkness of our life. That's it. I understand this. What I find harder to understand, yet still believe, is we didn't know it then. We don't know it now. We never knew it. In truth, it never was. It never was. It never will be. It is not now, and still it is. It still is. This most brilliant illusion shining in the mirror of the mind. Who you are. If who you are is who you will be, and who you will be who you were, then who you are is not who you are or who you will be. So who are you? Imagine what I don't know. Imagining what I don't know, and I don't know, I imagine what I don't know. I know what I imagine is what I don't know, and what I know is not what I imagine. That much I know. I can only imagine what I don't know. Something for nothing. Expect nothing. Accept nothing. Accept something. Oh, I didn't accent that right. Expect nothing. Accept nothing. Accept something. Now I'm going to read a few mantra poems that they were written to be read aloud, and if they were read aloud properly, they recreated an image. This is kind of a masochistic one that I wrote a long time ago before I understand how the Spirit moves in us and that we are that Spirit. And it's called Inner Ear. What will eager issue out and into us would enter? so to stare, to stuff itself, to eat itself, the center of what we wait to wither in on after it is all. It eats us out. It only is in every inward eaten, the echo of an endless ache that arches heart's hard hearing and opens up each inner ending and enters it as out. Here's one called The Force of Faith. The form of force enforcing form finds freedom from that form in fact, and in fact forced is freed, a form of force with faith in form that finds in fact faith itself a force. Thus force finds itself in form on faith, and force enforcing faith in form, and form informing faith of force. Faith is that force in form. Faith is our form of force. Outsetting song. That song is sung that singing sets inside itself outsetting song that sings, and singing sets itself in song. Song that sang, which sung is singing still. And I'll close with this one for now. I have a lot more of them, but my voice is already getting tired. This one's called Everlasting Life. And basically it's a poem about the monad, for those who study occult stuff. Everlasting Life. What will in words not wake, clear sleeps, and clear sleeps on. What wakes stands watch to see that sleep as sound. What wakes will serve to set asleep, in set asleep with standing words that wake, if ever, last. And on that last in overlay, our life. Yes, to lay at the last a life that ever lives, to ever last that last of life, and an everlasting life, everlasting. We have a life that lives at last. Thanks for listening.